Hey everyone, I'm going to do a video today in regards to the medical. It's such an important part of the visa process, and I felt like it was one of the elements that I struggled with the most. I did reach out to a lot of Facebook groups. Just sometimes I think it's not as clear cut as what you think it might be, especially when it comes to the immunisations, the summary. You know, there's a lot of different things that you need for the medical. So I'm going to do a quick video. Hopefully I cover some of the questions that you might have. I didn't have anything like this when I was doing my medical, so I'm hoping it helps you guys to some extent. So I'm going to cover different parts, and hopefully it will help you in your process and your journey to get into America. Okay, so once you are able to book your medical, I would suggest first of all making sure you have at least 7 days in between your medical and your interview date. I had to push my interview back due to not getting, I think it was the kids' immunisations were due to be done on the NHS, and something happened, I think illness or something, and they wasn't able to have it, so we had to then push the interview back 2 weeks because you have to be signed off by the medical centre in London before your interview. Yeah, just don't even be silly and book it within before a week. That's my only advice in regards to that. Just for a heads up, for my medical, it was one adult, one child over 15, and two children, 1 5 and 1 9. Anyone over the age of 15 and above, I think 15, an adult, you are required to have a chest x-ray. You don't have to have a blood test if you're 15. I think that's anybody over the age of 18 has to have a chest x-ray, a blood test, as well as your medical with the doctor. I've been through quite a horrific year with health, so what I would suggest you do is put everything in a plastic wallet and label it, just to give you a bit of reference. Mine looked a bit like this, so I had my name and what that was. So this was for neurology. Didn't really go into much detail. Sorry, I don't mean to skip over everything. There's just so much when it comes to the medical, and I just want to make sure that I cover as much as possible. But like anything health related, like I said, mine was neurology, but then I also had things like for the kids. One of my sons has cerebral palsy, so I did a wallet with all his letters and investigations and diagnosis and all that. Didn't really go into much detail about it. We mostly spoke to the doctor about it. But like I say, I do suggest you print everything, or at least if you've got all them letters, put it in a plastic wallet, label it, and take it with you. It's better to have too much than not enough. Okay, so going back to the medical itself at London, I'm from Manchester, so I ended up paying for a train for me and the kids. We got to Euston in London, and little did I know, I thought I was in for a journey, but you can actually walk it from Euston train station. It's about a mile and a bit, and it was freezing when we did. I made the kids walk, but it's so totally doable, and it's the best way. It was really heavy traffic when we got there in the morning. We would never have got a taxi, so we walked it, and I think it was 5 minutes late. But we made it, and I would suggest, like I say, especially if you're doing this in summer, just walk it. Nice little walk. Yeah, 100% do it. I'll also link the map onto the video if that helps you as well. So once we got to the medical in London, there's little windows that you go to. I think I had to give them our passports and our GP summary. Now, 2 of my boys ended up getting the whole medical summary, which just wasn't necessary. It was ridiculous. It was that thick. Nothing I could do for some reason they didn't know what a summary was, so they didn't send it me. I did use that. It was fine, but I could tell she was a bit cheers, thanks for that. Mine was a bit more straightforward. Mine was literally a couple of pages. On the front, it had all my immunisations from the year I was born, and it was just simple. Because I got that prior to the medical, so I was able to get my flu and COVID jab prior to the medical, which saved me a bit of money. Yes, so once you kind of book in at the medical in London, they then take your picture. I was not prepared for that after being windswept in the middle of winter. My head was like a busted couch. No choice. So you're then directed to the waiting room. It was quite busy the day that we was there. But within 10 minutes, I was called in first to see the doctor. I went in, I spoke about my medical history. I then went on to having my bloods taken, having a physical, which related to listening to my heart, checking my ears, doing an eye test. And again, it was just more like a conversation. It wasn't very, stressful. It was quite simple, and the doctor was really lovely. Once mine was kind of done, we then brought the boys in. Again, they the same thing again. They'll have an eye test, it was an eye test, a physical. The doctor made it fun for them. Yeah, it was fine. Like, it was really straightforward. Kind of went through the medical history of the children, mostly if it's significant. Like I say, one of my children has cerebral palsy, so it was significant. But then it was nothing that was too scary either. A nurse then came in who had been checking our GP summaries in regards to our immunisations, and it turned out that three of my children had to have immunisations relating to Hep A and Hep B. They weren't too chuffed about that, and that did set me back about 200 quid, so neither was I. Once that was done, I did have two of the children booked in to have flu nasal sprays with school. I think it was like 2 days later. So they didn't have that done at the medical centre in London. But once they did have them done at school, I was able to get a proof of this, and I emailed it over to the medical centre in London, and they then updated the record to then sign the boys off that were just outstanding those immunisations. I wasn't paying 30 quid each for that when they were getting it free 2 days later, so that was my choice. And it worked out fine, and they ended up getting signed off a couple of days later from the embassy. But like I say, we did have to pull it back anyway due to a couple of issues that we ran into and being Christmas time. I think altogether we was in the medical for about 3 hours, but that was because there was four of us. If you are one person, you're probably in and out very, very quickly. I reckon I would have been done in within an hour. It was really sufficient, really fast, and they were lovely. Like, I found them really friendly. And it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. Also, just for a heads up, my police report hadn't come by the time I had my medical. I was panicking about that. If this is the case with you, just let them know that you've not received it yet. It doesn't kind of hinder your medical, even though you're supposed to take it with you. You can email it them. Obviously, they can't sign your medical off until they have seen your police report, but doesn't mean that you have to have it prior to having your medical. So that's just a bit of a heads up for you. Just to wrap the video up, like I say, try and get your immunisation records quite a bit sooner than your medical. I'd even get it whilst you're in the your MVC stage. Nothing, unless you are due to have any more immunisations after the time, but it really did help me. And I did get some immunisations after, and I just updated it at my GP and they printed it out for me. Or no, I think they emailed me. So it is doable doing it that way. Just make sure you're prepared. That's my biggest, That's my biggest thing in relation to this video. Just make sure you're prepared, read the emails they send you. If you are unsure of anything, call them up, they are really lovely. And I just really hope this video's helped you a little bit anyway, in regards to your visa process. Good luck.